Here in the United States, the chaos is the point. The House of Representatives is going into week 3 without a Speaker of the House for the first time in the history of this empire, and it is because of the chaos that has been wielded by the Republican Party. I have to tell you, anytime a party uses chaos as a strategy externally, it is inevitable that that chaos will eventually be wielded internally. And we saw that happen a few weeks ago when Matt Gaetz from the 1st Congressional District of Florida issued a motion to vacate the office of the Speaker of the House successfully. They were successful in getting rid of a speaker, but they have been completely unsuccessful at replacing that speaker. First, Kevin McCarthy is ousted. Then Steve Scalise of Louisiana thought he would give it a go. He couldn't get the votes. And now Jim Jordan thought he could get the votes. I'm not quite sure why Jim Jordan ever thought that. But here we are with 3 weeks of the nation not having a Speaker of the House, effectively bringing all work in the House of Representatives to a halt at a most critical time in world history. Here is Speaker Pro Tem Patrick McHenry of the 10th Congressional District of North Carolina, showing that not only did Jim Jordan fall short of the number needed to become Speaker of the House, he got fewer votes today than he got yesterday.
The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212.
And of course, that is the sound of the Democratic Party applauding Hakeem Jeffries, who is the leader of the Democratic Party there in the House of Representatives, getting more votes, 212, all 212 of the Democrats. They voted in coalition together for Hakeem Jeffries. He got more votes than Jim Jordan. Some 20 Republicans opted to vote against Jim Jordan for many reasons. Here is one. This is Republican Representative Ken Buck of the 4th Congressional District of Colorado explaining to Morning Joe why he could not support Jim Jordan.
I am concerned that Congressman Jordan has not agreed to say that Donald Trump lost the election and Joe Biden won the election. I'm concerned that the events leading up to January 6th included Congressman Jordan participating, not in the riots or anything like that, but participating in the challenge to the election in ways that I think are really inappropriate. And I think that Republicans that run in the future are going to have to run on Jim Jordan's actions, and that's going to be very difficult for them.
I mean, that's pretty pragmatic to consider that Jim Jordan is an election denier who participated in the January 6th insurrection by voting against certifying the results, and then that later on being held, or Republicans who support Jim Jordan being held accountable for everything he does as Speaker of the House. And I have a lot more clips, but I just got to take a pause here and say, Democrats, you're playing it kind of close. Because if Republicans ever get in formation and decided to give the nation someone like Jim Jordan, we would have an insurrectionist as the Speaker of the House. But thankfully, after 2 votes, he has failed both times, and his prospects don't look that much better today. But that leaves the United States House of Representatives without a Speaker of the House. That is a level of dysfunction that shows that chaos can be used to paralyze our government from being able to function. I mean, we clearly can see that the Republican Party is incapable of governing because they are incapable of operating without creating more chaos and confusion. Those are the tools that they use to get power. And so it is only fitting that their chickens have come home to roost. And now they are unable to, with the majority, they're unable to move as a block in order to put a Speaker of the House back behind the Speaker's rostrum. And to be certain, I am extremely relieved that it's not Jim Jordan, because Jim Jordan is an insurrectionist. It would be so dangerous to have him as Speaker of the House. He's not only an insurrectionist, but he's an individual, as you'll hear in this clip from Representative Tom Cole. He's someone who will target Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
But unlike any other speaker we've had, he's had the courage to talk about a long-term plan and to get at the real drivers of debt. And we all know what they are. We all know it's Social Security. We all know it's Medicare. We all know it's Medicaid. No president of either side has been willing to deal with this. No speaker of either side has been willing to deal with this. This is the guy that wants to create a debt commission, a bipartisan debt commission, and get at the roots of our spending problem. That takes courage.
Now, there's a handful of Republicans clapping there, but a handful of those handful voted against Jim Jordan, and I believe it's because no one wants to be caught cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. They want to cut it. Don't get me wrong. Republicans have been salivating at cutting those programs for decades, but they just don't want you to say it out publicly like that, Tom Cole. You've been there since 2003. You have to know that by now. But I love when they say the quiet parts out loud. But there is no question. We have a dysfunctional Congress. We have elected officials who are playing games with the American people. Matt Gaetz, who initiated all of this from the 1st Congressional District of Florida, he issued the motion to vacate that initiated all of this. And now here we are 3 weeks later without a Speaker of the House. And the House of Representatives cannot go about the business of the people. And I think that's the point. I think the game that is being played on America right now is using as much confusion and chaos as possible to bring the United States government to a standstill at one of the most critical points in world history. All right, we're going to take this break, and when we come back, there's so much more to cover, more of the Benjamin Dixon Show after this.